Good evening and welcome to Law Talk, the show that brings the Constitution, the law, and the events of today to you each month. Good evening, and tonight on Law Talk we're actually very fortunate because we have Donald and Melania Trump. And Donald, why would you come to Law Talk to talk to us tonight?
Well, I'm very happy that you invited us on to Law Talk tonight, James. I think it's very important that we get out and tell the public, you know, what's going on with this country, what's going on with the money in this country. And Melania, we're rich, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
But no, we're actually very rich. We're very rich. And
Well,
we just want to
Donald,
make it clear that we're very rich.
When you say rich, what do you really mean by rich? What is rich today?
Well, Melania, how rich are we?
Well, you did the math, or did I do the math? Anyways, we have exactly 9 semi-trailers filled with $100 bills, which equates to our about $9 billion in net worth.
About $9 billion. So we're very, very rich. So we're not just rich, we're very rich.
Well, I have a question then. How do you handle the tax man, Donald? I know my viewers want to find out. How do you do that?
Well, I've had a little change of heart. I used to think that, you know, everyone should give a lot more money to the tax man after a certain amount of wealth. But now I think we want to power the economic engine by having some tax cuts. So I'm really talking about we ought to change the tax structure. Well, what's our numbers on that, Melania? Like over 10 million, I think we're 15%. And if you're making less than 30,000, you're in the 1 or 2% ratio. If you're making under 100,000, about 5%. So we're thinking, let people keep some of their money.
Well, I have a question. Are you saying that every citizen has a responsibility to pay something into the tax code?
Well, yeah, I think everybody should pay something. But I think if you look at the Revolutionary War that our founders started, right, in 1776 and all that, now what was the tax burden at that time in today's dollars?
Well, I don't know.
It was about $5,000 a year.
That's a lot of money then.
No, that's in today's money.
Oh, in today's money, it's nothing.
Well, no, they didn't think so. They thought it was worth starting the Revolutionary War over $5,000 a year in our money.
I thought the Revolutionary War was started over the tea tax and lack of representation in London.
Well, don't get me started with those tea partiers.
Those tea partiers? The tea partiers.
Tea partiers.
Oh, okay.
So, Melania, what do you think about this tax thing? What do you think is the worst tax or the best tax?
Well, I think it was a very dumb idea, the one you had a few years ago, to tax the 14% across the board for 10 million and up.
I don't think there's a very good time to bring that up. So, Jim.
Well, wait a minute, Donald. I have to tell you,
forward.
I did a little background. I reviewed some of your outtakes from 1999, and it was very evident that you had indicated then if all people that had over $10 million were taxed 14.5%, that you would be able to wipe out the national debt at that time, which, by the way, was substantially less than it is today.
Yeah, I think 10 years ago, the national debt was about $9 billion, and now we're getting close to
20. You mean $9 trillion?
$9 trillion. Now we're close to $20 trillion.
Yeah, well, you know why.
Which is 10,000 semi-trailers. We've also done that math.
How many semi-trailers?
Okay, if you take a semi-trailer, now how many cubic feet in one semi-trailer?
Oh, gosh, I have to, 3,200.
3,200 cubic feet in every semi-trailer. And if you pile $100 bills up to fill up 3,200 cubic feet, that's one semi-trailer, that's about $2 billion in one semi-trailer, $100 bills stacked up in that semi-trailer.
Well, I got a question. How many semi-trailers, $100 bills, are moving across that southern border?
Well, I'm just saying there's always money moving around, and that's a good thing. But we have about 10 of those. We have about 5 of those trucks. We've got about five semi-trucks of $100 bills.
Can you think of anything, Donald?
Except with that's not counting her jewelry. But
what, her jewelry?
Yeah. Okay. So
That's another 10,000.
Why don't you tell us a little bit on Inside Edition what it really is to be married to the Donald?
I'd rather keep it off record.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. What number wife is this, Donald?
Well, I have accountants that keep track of all that kind of thing. I really don't. I don't really take care of that.
I only see him once a year.
Yeah, once a year.
Oh, once a year, whether you have to or not?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Do you just have lunch?
The White House I might live in. I might.
Oh, well, that's a lot of interest. But,
Okay.
Donald, let's talk about some of your other issues that you've been talking about recently, and those include China. And what's going on with China? What should we be doing with China?
Well, China's a bunch of losers.
How's that?
You know, so, well, the thing is, like, say, China, they don't pay any for any intellectual property. They don't pay for any patents. They're just pirates.
They're pirates.
They're pirates. And like say if the Germans steal a patent, right, and start selling a piece of equipment that's patent in the United States, we can sue Germany. There's full faith and confidence. I can go to bond and I can sue here in Los Angeles or wherever, and I can win a case in federal court, and then I full faith and confidence. I can attach a bank account and bond. You can win all the lawsuits you want against China. There's no full faith and confidence. You can't attach a bank account in Peking.
Okay, I have a question. I noticed you've talked a lot about tariffs, and I know China is one of the countries that has stiff tariffs, making it almost impossible for the U.S., if not impossible for the U.S., to be able to compete in the Chinese market. What would you do if you had the ability to change that? What would you do?
Well, I mean, you see that China's doing a lot of currency manipulation. There's a lot to be done there.
Okay.
And so there's various ways you can handle that, but those are certain things you don't tell the other side until you're ready to go.
Okay, now, what about Japan? You know, Japan's been dumping their cars on America now for a good 30 years. How would you open their markets to American cars?
Well, Japan, there's not really much room to drive around anyway, so I wouldn't even worry about it.
So would you be able to sell the Chevrolet Volt in Japan?
I think the Volt might fit down their streets. I don't think a regular side SUV would fit. I think we get stuck on their streets. They got pretty narrow streets there, you know.
Okay,
So I don't really think that's our market.
So even though Japan has tariffs, you wouldn't even try to break any tariffs with the Japanese market?
No, we're not too worried about it. China, we're worried about it. We're not worried about the
But
Japanese.
China's where you get your hair as well, right?
Well, the thing about that is the meatloaf, like when you're saying, we were talking about that old tax plan, that was before I got the meatloaf. That's when I had a different hairstylist.
Right.
I was a different person.
Yeah, but when you were a different person, what do you mean by that, Donald? I mean, this is very exciting for our viewers. Can you tell me how you were a different
I was an
person?
idiot. I was an idiot. I was a loser.
A loser?
Now I'm a winner. Now I'm rich. I'm very rich.
Milani, how's life with the Donald?
Well, he hasn't gone bankrupt as of late, but you have been bankrupt about 4 times.
I don't think we weren't going to really get into that tonight. You know, that was something we were talking about.
Well, I'm sorry, but Donald, you didn't put any parameters on our discussion tonight. So I think maybe we should talk a little bit about that. How many times have you declared bankruptcy, and how many different companies have you bankrupt, and how many employees did you lay off as a result of those bankruptcies?
Well, technically speaking, I've never declared bankruptcy ever.
You never have.
I never have.
Then why are they linked to you?
Well, because those people are losers. They're idiots.
Milani, what do you know about this?
Well, yes, personally, he has not declared bankruptcy, but corporate-wise, corporate bankruptcy, 4 times, I think, is the latest tally.
Yeah, only 4 times.
Only 4
Only
times.
four
Taj
times.
Mahal in
Well, is
Atlantic
that
City,
the
I told you
average,
it was a
or
bad idea.
how is it that you have $9 billion when you keep declaring bankruptcy? Is that how you get to your $9 billion, by declaring bankruptcy?
Well, actually the total bankruptcies of all 4 bankruptcies, the total that was bankrupt is about $2 billion. So that's about 1 truck, 1 semi-truck.
One semi-truck.
And I've got about 5.
How
So
many?
if at worst I have to give up one of my 5 trucks.
Oh, you're gonna have to give up one of your 5 trucks.
But all those were corporate bankruptcies and reorganizations, Chapter 11s. They weren't Chapter 7s.
At least-
Okay.
Yes, he stopped guaranteeing debt with his personal wealth. That was a good move.
Well, that's a good move.
That was a good
For
one.
who? Who was that a good?
It was a
for?
good move for me, and it was a bad
That was
move.
the 90s.
That was like Atlantic City. You know, I got out of Atlantic City when the getting was good.
So I guess Milani, does she keep telling you what to do all the time, Donald?
No, she never tells me what to do.
I understand from everything I heard, she does tell you what to do.
Yes, we're going to Japan tonight, correct?
Japan. No, I don't know about Japan.
Well, I understand you were going to Japan tonight.
You're not gonna give me more time. Let's forget about the bankruptcy.
When are you going to When are you going to file bankruptcy again?
Okay, that's enough about the bankruptcies. Okay, so you know. Okay.
Tell me more, Milani. What about these bankruptcies?
I saw you type Chapter 11 in an email today.
Okay, look, Milani, not one more word.
Word.
You shot your wife!
Yeah.
Milani, are you all right?
Yeah, I shot her. Yeah, shot her. You know.
Why
I
did
shot
you
her.
shoot her?
There's no talking to her. You know, sometimes it just goes on
There's
and
no
on.
talking
There's
to
no
her.
talking to her. She just
How
goes
can you
on.
shoot your
It
wife?
goes on and on. You know, it's just like one thing, bankruptcy this, you want some jewelry.
Well, Donald, I think we
bankruptcy
better
that.
change subjects
Oh,
here.
come on.
Now, do you have any plans for the future?
Well, as a matter of fact, you ever hear that old expression about throwing your hat in the ring?
Of course.
And that was when fighters were, they have fist fights.
Pugilists.
Yeah, pugilists would be having a ring of guys would be around watching some fighters, and if you wanted to be a challenger, you throw your hat in the ring.
What would you throw your hat in the ring for?
Well, I'm going to throw my toupee in the ring. I'm going to announce my candidacy for the presidency of the United States of America.
For the President of the United States of America.
Yeah, because I want to make this country great again.
On Law Talk. You're
On Law
announcing
Talk.
yourself
I'm
as the President of the United States of
announcing
America.
on Law Talk. Right here, right now.
I got to tell you, this is very exciting. Unfortunately, Melania doesn't look so excited.
Well, yeah, well, she's fired.
She's fired?
She's fired.
Oh, this sounds like The Apprentice.
She's fired.